There is a kind of suffering that hides in plain sight. Not loud, not chaotic, but constant. It's the tight jaw before sleep, the breath you didn't realize you were holding, the heavy thoughts you carry even in silence. Most people believe this pain comes from life being unpredictable, unfair. But here's the truth. It doesn't come from the chaos. It comes from our resistance to it. Shaolin wisdom teaches us something quietly powerful. Control is not real. You can train your body, you can sharpen your focus, but the outcome is not yours. This path, the path of real strength, begins with surrender. Letting go is not defeat, it's clarity. It's knowing what is yours to master and what is not yours to carry anymore. In this guided meditation, I will take you through something deeper than relaxation, deeper than calm. This is a journey into the quiet center of your being. You will learn how to stop fighting the current, how to trust the river of life, not because you know where it's going, but because you've learned how to float. We will breathe together. We will observe the fear, not fight it. And we will allow the body to speak truths the mind has ignored. There are teachings here most people never hear, ancient principles hidden beneath surface routines. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll not only feel lighter, you'll understand what true presence really means. Welcome to the Shaolin Soulfire. Subscribe now and return to the place within you that has never been lost. There is a silence deeper than quiet, not the kind found in an empty room, but the kind forged through discipline, breath, and presence. In the Shaolin Temple, stillness is not a break from training. It is the training. Every morning before the first movement, we sit. No noise, no motion, just the breath, the floor beneath us, the sound of the wind brushing the stone walls. At first, the silence is loud. Your thoughts clamor for attention. Regrets, to-do lists, stray emotions. You hear all of them. But this is the sharpening. A blade isn't honed through chaos. It's honed through slow, deliberate pressure. The same is true for the mind. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it's the refusal to be disturbed by it. The monks train to walk calmly through noise, through conflict, through pain, because they've trained to be undisturbed within. The body may move, the world may shake, but the inner lake remains unbroken. This meditation begins in silence, because noise cannot teach you what the silence reveals. You won't hear the guidance of the universe while you're fighting to control everything. But when you sit, when you finally let the waves settle, there's something beneath the surface that speaks. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, it whispers. And that whisper, it's been there your whole life, waiting for you to stop, to listen, to come home to it. Let the silence stretch, let it make you uncomfortable. That discomfort is the doorway. On the other side is presence, real, rooted presence. And from there, every step becomes clear. There is a reason breath is the first lesson in every Shaolin practice. Not the movement, not the forms, the breath. Because when everything else collapses, when the world spins, when emotions flare, when fear takes over, the breath remains. The monks are taught chaos outside is manageable only when there is order within. And that order begins with one inhale, one exhale. Inhale, accept, not with resistance, not with panic, but with presence. Exhale, release, not to forget, not to suppress, but to let go of what's no longer useful. It sounds simple, but in simplicity, there is power. Each breath is a decision, to soften instead of brace, to return instead of run. In the monastery, we used to sit for hours with nothing but our breath. The body would ache, the mind would wander. But again and again we came back to this inhale, back to this exhale. That's the discipline, training the mind to return, not once, not twice, but endlessly until returning becomes natural, until the breath becomes a teacher. You start to notice. The breath never rushes. It doesn't demand. It simply moves. Always here, always available. And the deeper you breathe, the less space there is for fear. Because fear feeds on shallowness, but presence lives in depth. Letting go isn't something you do with force. It's something you allow with awareness. You don't push the thoughts away. You let the breath carry them, like leaves down a quiet river. Nothing more, nothing less. Just the inhale, meeting life as it is. And the exhale, releasing what you were never meant to hold. In the early hours of training, when the halls are still and the mist clings to the mountain, a young monk is taught to sit and watch, not to act, not to react, just to observe. And it is in this quiet, almost invisible practice that one of the deepest teachings is passed on. Your thoughts are not you. Shaolin mindfulness teaches thoughts are like clouds. They move across the sky. some light, some dark, some heavy with storm. But the sky itself remains untouched. The sky is your awareness. It sees, it holds, but it does not cling. The mind will throw many things at you. Memories, worries, urges, distractions. It will try to pull you into old stories. But you don't need to fight. Fighting only feeds them. The true discipline is to stay rooted in the stillness beneath, to let the thought come and let it go, like watching footsteps fade in sand. This is not apathy, this is clarity. The monks learn not to suppress the mind, but to free themselves from it, to know when a thought deserves attention and when it's just noise passing through. It takes training. Each time the mind grabs you, gently return, not with judgment, not with frustration, just with presence. That is mastery, not control over the mind, but freedom from its grip. There is no need to follow every fear, no need to chase every question. Some things dissolve on their own when left untouched. Let the clouds move, let the wind shift. You remain, the open sky, wide and untouched, beneath it all. That's where peace lives, not in the silence of thoughts, but in the space that holds them without being moved. Fear doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes it settles into the body quietly through tight shoulders, a clenched jaw, a restless chest that never fully exhales. The monks learn early, the body remembers what the mind tries to forget. And before you can quiet the mind, you must first listen to the body. Shaolin meditation often begins not with thoughts, but with sensation. A slow, deliberate scan, starting from the crown of the head, moving gently down to the soles of the feet. No rush, no force, just awareness. Is there tension in the forehead, the throat, the stomach? Each place where energy hides is an old signal, a message from something unspoken. This is not about fixing or correcting, it's about noticing, observing without judgment. The body has its own language, and when you finally stop to listen, it starts to release. With each breath, the tension softens, the shoulders drop, the belly loosens, the jaw unhooks from fear, and something quiet begins to shift, not just in the body, but in the mind. Because the two are not separate, the body's grip is the mind's echo. Letting go is not just a mental act, it is physical. When you soften the body, you open the door for the spirit to step forward. You make space for stillness to enter. This practice teaches a deeper truth. Mastery is not stiffness, it's fluidity. It's knowing when to hold and when to release. Just as a blade must be strong yet flexible, so must the inner self be grounded yet soft. So begin with the body. Let it guide you, let it speak, and as it begins to release what it's been holding, you will feel it, something lighter, freer, rising quietly within. Fear is not the enemy. That is one of the first lessons. Not because fear is harmless, but because turning away from it only gives it more power. In Shaolin practice, fear is never pushed down. It is never ignored. It is met directly, silently, with open eyes. The young monks are trained not just in strength, but in presence. When fear rises before a fight, before a fall, before the unknown, they are taught to pause, to breathe, to look, not to flinch, not to run, but to observe it, the way one might watch a fire from a safe distance, aware of its heat, but not consumed by it. This is where real trust begins, not in pretending fear doesn't exist, not in forcing confidence, but in standing still inside the discomfort and choosing deliberately to walk forward anyway. That choice, made over and over again, becomes a kind of inner armor, not the kind that hardens you, but the kind that makes you clear, steady, and unshakable. In this meditation, fear is not treated as a mistake, it's seen as a signal, a call to come closer, not to escape. You don't need to silence it, you don't need to fight it, you simply hold it in your awareness, you watch it rise, peak and fade like a wave returning to the ocean. This is how Shaolin cultivates courage, not through force, through attention, through stillness, through the simple disciplined act of seeing what is and choosing not to retreat. And when you meet fear in this way, something surprising happens. It softens, it stops chasing you, it becomes quiet, not because it's gone, but because it's finally been seen. And what is seen with compassion no longer controls you. In the temple, students often ask, how long will it take? When will I master the form? When will the answers come? The masters only smile and say, take one step, then take another. That is the way. That is enough. Shaolin discipline doesn't chase the end. It anchors itself in the present moment, in the grip of the staff, the contact of the soul on stone. the rhythm of breath in the chest. Nothing is wasted. Every movement is complete in itself. You don't need to see the whole path. That's not how life or mastery reveals itself. The forest clears only when you walk into it. The mountain shows its way only as you climb. The mind wants a map. It wants guarantees. It wants to know how everything will unfold before it begins. But trust is built in the absence of certainty, and this too is part of the training. Letting go of needing to know is not giving up. It's choosing to be fully alive now. To pour your energy not into distant outcomes, but into the step you're taking today. To bring your full presence to the smallest act, whether it's tying the rope, preparing the tea, or breathing through the silence. Because when your awareness deepens, life deepens. And that's when the unexpected opens, insights come, opportunities appear. Not because you chased them, but because you were here, fully, when they arrived. The monks don't ask how far the path stretches. They ask, is my foot steady on the ground beneath me? Is my breath calm? Is my spirit awake? That's enough. One true step, one real moment, taken with clarity. That is the way forward, even when the path ahead is hidden. Letting go is often misunderstood. People think it means turning cold, pulling back, not caring. But in Shaolin teaching, it means something very different. Letting go is not apathy. It's devotion without attachment, presence without demand. The monks care deeply about the temple, about the earth beneath their feet, about the breath rising and falling in their chest. They bow before each meal. They sweep the courtyard with attention. They train with the kind of focus that only comes from love. But they don't cling, not to outcomes, not to praise, not even to success. They understand that everything is passing. Seasons shift, bodies age, moments bloom, then fade. To try and freeze what is always changing, that's where suffering begins. So instead, they give everything fully to the moment and then release it, like water cupped in the hands. They hold it gently, knowing it's not theirs to keep. This is a different kind of strength. It's not about control. It's about relationship. You stand close to life. You feel everything, but you don't try to force it into your shape. You meet it as it is, not as you wish it would be. This is how they love, without chains, without fear. Just clear eyes, steady breath, and open hands. True letting go is an act of mastery. It says, yes, I care, yes, I feel, but I do not need this moment to stay. I do not need this person, this plan, this outcome to define me. And when that clinging falls away, something deeper rises in its place. A peace that's not dependent, a love that's not possessive, a freedom that can stand right in the middle of life, open, soft, and unshaken. In Shaolin tradition, intention is everything, but it goes far deeper than what you say or even what you want. Words are surface, desire is restless, but energy, the quiet, grounded kind that rises from deep awareness, that's what speaks to the world around you. The universe is not moved by noise. It doesn't respond to begging or force. It listens to vibration, to rhythm, to alignment. And when your energy is calm, steady, and true, the next lesson, the next opportunity begins to unfold without you having to chase it. The monks don't ask for things. They prepare for them, not with hope, but with presence. If the body is still, if the breath is rooted, if the mind is clear, then what is meant to come will come, not because they summoned it, but because they matched it. This is the deeper meaning of manifestation. You are not pulling things out of nowhere, you are tuning yourself to what already exists. Like striking the right frequency on a string, once it's in harmony, it begins to resonate. But this requires trust, a kind of trust that doesn't demand proof. You step into the unknown, not recklessly, but with full awareness. You become the kind of person who can hold what you're seeking because you've already practiced stillness, discipline, and surrender. Shaolin teaches that life is not something you control. It's something you cooperate with. You meet it with humility. You listen to its timing. You stay rooted and let your energy speak in silence. And when that energy is aligned, when it stops grasping and starts embodying, doors begin to open. Not all at once, not always how you expected, but always when you're ready. Surrender has nothing to do with weakness. It's not giving up, it's waking up. Waking up to the truth that life is not something you have to fight every moment to control. When you surrender, you're not losing power. You're aligning with it. You're stepping out of resistance and into flow. In that quiet shift, everything changes. The breath becomes deeper, the mind becomes still. Even the smallest acts, walking, speaking, resting, start to carry a sacred weight because they are no longer driven by fear or force. They are guided by something deeper, something steady. This is the heart of Shaolin practice, not the strength to overpower, but the awareness to move with life, not against it. One breath, one step, one decision at a time. As you move through your day, bring this with you. When tension rises, return to your breath. When fear appears, observe it without judgment. When the path is unclear, take just one mindful step. That's where peace begins, not at the end of the journey, but right here in how you walk it. If this teaching spoke to something inside you, we invite you to walk further with us, like this video. Subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire and continue your path of quiet mastery, where every breath is a return and every moment is a chance to let go, trust, and begin again.